part out.
Get him excited because we're doing the equal length headers. Hell yes.
He's talking about on an LS4.
Oof.
We looked at it.
Nobody cares about that.
We are live. What's up, guys? It's Tyler again. Apparently, I'm taking over.
Let's talk to Tyler.
Yeah. So today we got Bros with Bo here. Is what we've aptly named the podcast. And today we're talking about Track Day Starter Pack.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
This
hold on.
question up here.
Mm-hmm.
This I'm just gonna read this. Do you think it's likely that a 3800 supercharged build would lose significant power from heat soaking the blower on a road course track day? I read that question and my first thought was heating the blower is the least of your worries. But I don't know if that slush box tranny is going to make it through a track
Yeah,
day.
you better have a beast or tranny cooler on that thing.
But
I know I hate on the 4T a lot, but that is a legitimate concern.
yeah.
My 2 cents on that, which I would imagine Bo will agree, is that Supercharged 3800 better be intercooled.
Yes.
If you're intercooled,
yeah.
you're fine. You're fine. The intercooler works as a heat shield for the supercharger from the engine.
And works
So
better
that-
when you're moving.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you have the heat exchanger flowing water through both the other heat exchanger. So, yeah, I mean, intercool it, you're fine.
Yeah.
Be good.
Just worry about your 4T65.
If you are not intercooled, I probably wouldn't try.
yeah.
Take the blower belt off.
Just don't have a
Yeah,
dumb
or,
pulley
or-
on it.
Yeah, put a big pulley on it for your road course day. I mean, we do the same things with our cars. You know,
That's
when
not
I'm-
a bad idea.
Yeah, we dynoed Zoom's car on a 2.6, and then we're like, going racing, put the 2.8 on.
Yeah.
Because then I just know we're going to have fun
Put-
all night long.
Put
and
the
it
big
ain't gonna-
pulley on. The 2.8.
Yeah, my
Well, when you're the M90 King, the big pulley is the 2.8.
That's true. That's true.
That's like a 2.4 in M62 world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overdriven 2.8, actually.
So yes, it was funny. Me and Ryan were looking at Intense's website yesterday,
Yeah.
and they have 5 LSJ stage kits, and their stage 5 kit comes with a 2.5 pulley,
Yeah.
and I really hope no one's bought that
Yeah.
in a long time.
hopefully Al can throw some data in here, but
Numbers.
the temperature goes up exponentially the higher boost you're at.
Yes.
Tell him the V3 temp numbers approximately on the Sonic, that
crap.
dyno sheet.
It was
Just do an approximate just to tell these people from boost to boost how much higher the temperature was.
at 19. We were at like 430 degrees.
This is outlet temps
Yep.
before
Yeah.
the
Turbo
intercooler.
outlet temps.
And this is the V3, mind you, which runs more efficiently than the stock or V2. So at 19 psi, we're at 430 something degrees outlet temp. At 23 psi, we were at 610 degrees.
Yeah.
4
Exactly.
psi, 200 plus degrees,
Nah.
and it only picked up like 10 horsepower or something like that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not good.
And this is somewhat like I understand that's a turbo, but it still kind of applies to the Roots blower world because we're constantly running these things on the borderline of where they can be efficient at, which is what we were doing with the turbo in that test also. So yeah, there are lots of scenarios where you may actually lose power going from a 2.8 to a 2.6 because your boost is too high and the thing just can't work properly.
I mean, we've done this test before. I had I'm going to try to remember the exact numbers, but I believe I had a LSJ guy come in, typical mods, header, cold air intake, maybe a heat exchanger.
Broken intercooler pump.
Working intercooler pump, but like he had like a 2.8 pulley on the car.
Yep.
And I was like, I just want to see. So I put a 2.9 on the car and gained like 5 to 7 wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
Going up in pulley size.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So-
That's part of my whole stock pulley build is to show people that you don't have to obsess over pulley size.
Yes.
But people
Boost.
still do.
We'll just say boost,
Yeah.
so we cover turbo
I want
and
boost.
supercharged.
But to kind of reel us back to Track Day Starter Pack, we've got
Big
all 4
pulley.
of us here, big pulley, mostly because we have all had varying degrees of success and failures in different track days. And, when we refer to track days, we're not just saying road course or autocross or half mile or quarter mile.
No, we mean it literally.
We mean everything. So we'll dive into, specifics, but I think there's some basic things that we can all kind of agree upon. If you've never been to any sort of track day, the first thing that you should always do is make sure your car's up on maintenance.
So agree.
I would say before that even, I didn't go to the racetrack for a long time because I was scared of being embarrassed. And I would say throw that out the window.
You just got used to being embarrassed?
Yep, literally.
And then he started embarrassing all of us
but,
in
like,
his
you know,
4T car.
No kidding.
You're young. You put this car together yourself. It's intimidating as heck to go out there and push it in front of everybody. And I would just say get over that.
Yeah.
Have confidence in yourself and your car and the hard work you've put into it. And just go out there and have fun because that's what everybody else is doing. And nobody's holding it against you if you're out there.
And
just
no one that's worth being friends with or impressing is worried about it.
You're not going to go out your first pass and run a 10.
absolutely not.
Well,
I mean, I guess if you buy a new Hellcat or something, whatever. But the cars that we work on, other than maybe an ATSV, you're going to go out there and you'll start at 16, 17 seconds, in something, because you're spinning the tires and you're missing shifts. And, we still miss shifts. I miss a lot of shifts. But, don't be afraid to go do it because that's the only way you're going to get better.
The pressure of doing, you can do 10 launches in your car on the street, all perfect, and then go to the quarter mile, and there's grandstands with people, your friends, everybody's watching, and you stall your car at the line. That can happen. So it's like you just got to get out there and do it. Yeah, your buddies are probably gonna crack on you a little bit, if you stall your car. But you're there, and it makes the day more enjoyable.
Look, Tyler should be embarrassed for what he's been doing, and he still goes out there and tries.
Overall, anything that happens, you'll be driving home with a smile on your face, regardless.
For sure.
Unless the car goes home on a trailer. Then,
you'll still have a smile on your face.
you still will have had fun.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I think that's a great
Just gotta
point.
handle the panic.
But then getting to maintenance, don't show up to your first autocross with whooped out control arm bushings and a non-working intercooler pump and
warped rotors.
Yeah, there's just certain things that people ignore, and me and Al say it a lot is car guy things. Some of them can be small, like non-working door handles. That's fine. You can go to the track with that. But
hold on, I gotta throw this in there. The Element was wrecked.
His Honda Element.
Honda Element. It was wrecked just enough that the bag went off, so they replaced the bag, and they had to do something in the column. And somehow these people that fixed it switched. I almost think they did it on purpose. Switched the wires for the front and rear washer fluid pumps.
What?
So when you
pull
pull the lever back, it wipers the front and sprays the back. And when you twist it, it wipers the back and sprays the front. And so what's a car guy do? You pull and twist it. And
Every
it's been
time.
that way for 8 years. You just got to clean them both. That's what car guy stuff.
Yep.
So that's an okay car guy thing.
Yeah, that's an okay car guy thing.
Your brake pedal going when you slow down
is not good.
That's not a good car guy thing.
Here's one. I mean, going along with the maintenance thing, check your frickin' oil.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to the quarter mile, you have slosh. If you go to the road course, you're going to have slosh. Make sure your oil is at least full. And for all of us here, we run at least a quart over full.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say at least. We run about a quart over full.
Yeah.
I mean, most of these cars have, some kind of windage tray, so you don't have to worry about cranks, slosh and
yes, this is our experience with our cars. Don't go throwing tons of extra oil in yours because there is a limit to where it goes really bad really quickly.
Don't fill it out the top.
1 quart is fine.
Yeah.
And
1 quart on
preferred.
an Ecotech is no problem. Or the LTGs seem to do fine with that too.
LTG, I always change the oil the day before road course and then add an extra quart.
Oh yeah, change your oil.
Yeah, oil's cheap. I mean, you can get some super premium oils, but for most people, a good quality Dexos oil is cheap in comparison to what could happen to your car. And a filter's $5. So
It sure is.
There was a customer earlier today that sent a video in because his turbo was leaking oil, and it was like black paint running down it.
Yeah.
And my first
It
thought
was
was, man, this
awful.
is the least of your worries.
Funny story. I had a buddy, and I needed to borrow his truck to move something big, right? And I was like, hey, what do you want from me borrowing your truck? He's like, just do an oil change. And I'm like, all right, do I need to do the oil change before or after I borrow it? And he was like, I would do it before. And I'm like, okay.
Good to
so
know.
I pulled the drain plug out. Nothing came out. And I sat there and waited, and all of a sudden it started to come out, but it was like globs. There was like less than a 20-ounce bottle of oil in his truck.
What?
And it was like molasses.
Wow.
I ended up like putting the oil in it, and everything was fine. But it's like, holy crap! Come on, people.
And then you knew, don't let this friend borrow your cars in the future.
And the thing is, I'm gonna throw a jab on GM on this one. So they have their oil life monitor. I think if you wait till that says 0.
8,000 to
I think
9,000
that's
miles.
about what your oil will look like. So
Pretty
don't
much.
completely ignore that stupid oil life meter. I go 1,000 miles per quart of oil capacity. If I road course my car, I would cut that in half at least.
For sure.
But 1,000 miles per quart of capacity. So
It's-
that means if you take 6.5 quarts, you could probably go
Seems
6,500 maybe.
reasonable.
I would, caution that for people who run E85. I would change it more often. Especially if it's a car that you're going to beat on a lot.
Yep. Tell them why.
Basically, ethanol I don't really know why, but it gets in the oil.
It grabs water is what it
Yeah,
does. And
yeah,
that
it's-
water ends up
lot
in
of-
your oil.
A lot of moisture in the crankcase,
Yeah.
especially on short trips where you don't have enough temperature in the oil and the engine to
Yeah, there's more
evaporate.
water in the exhaust, so there's more oil or there's more water in the exhaust, so there's more water that gets past the rings
Yep.
and into your crankcase and into your oil. Also, you're running more fuel, and it doesn't vaporize very well on cold starts, so you get raw fuel. It goes past the rings also into your oil.
And to add on to what Bo said, you people that do short trips with your vehicles, man, at
Let 'em
least
warm
once
up.
a week, like get on the highway and frickin' buzz that thing.
Yeah,
Like
get the oil fully up to temp.
that
So-
actually happened to Ryan here. That he's got his short little trips.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We did an oil change on his car, and what did they say? I'm sure it was exaggerated, but he said there was like a cup of water that came out of the oil pan before oil came out.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And that's
Yeah.
all from his 2-mile trip
yeah.
to work and
Yeah.
home.
His commute is less than 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
if you don't let it at least warm up, but even just warming it up sometimes isn't enough, like you said.
Yeah,
I
Just
no,
get
can
on-
agree
the
with
oil
that.
lags behind the coolant temp.
Yeah,
It's not enough because I have a catch can on my Buick, and I fill our ZZP catch can about every week and a half with water, straight moisture.
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised.
yeah.
So I built like a fancy. I was doing some testing stuff, some fancy weird separated PCV thing on my car, and in 2 winter cold starts on the 85,
yeah.
it had 2 cups of water collected,
That's,
which normally
that's hard
that
to believe.
goes straight
That's
into
insane.
your oil. And if you're like, for me, I was working an hour away from home, so
Perfect.
that really, like, it sounds crazy that there was that much water, but it really was inconsequential because I was boiling it off every
Yeah.
single time I
Yep.
drove the car. And that's how things normally work. So, but if you're
That's why
driving
the
such,
bottom of the cap will look all cruddy.
yeah, if you're driving such short trips that your oil never gets up to temp, you will destroy your engine eventually.
yeah. I'll grab Nathan Sanchez's question. He says, what do you guys think the recipe for a 10-second ATS 2-liter 6-speed auto would look like? Well, that is Matt Meekoff's build to a T. He
Yeah.
ran 10.0, and it was a Z57, 4 long block, stage 3 cams, neutral balance shafts, really everything that we offer, but still stock manifold, still stock injectors, stock high-pressure fuel pump, a ZL1 in-tank pump, but otherwise good tire and weight reduction was his biggest thing. And that car only makes mid-400s to the wheel. So it's not a
Yeah,
super
it's-
complicated
wasn't
recipe.
even really turned up to kill mode.
Yeah, like that is I've tuned multiple customers. Like I have multiple customers that are making that power that I remote tune.
Especially if you're all-wheel drive, that's a pretty good advantage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name? Robert something. He has 7163 all-wheel drive ATS that last year he went 11 something, but I know this year he's coming out with tires and that'll be an easy 10-second car.
Binkowski?
No.
It was the dude that I tuned it, and I was like posting videos because
Yes.
the thing was so stupid fast.
Yep, and then he sold
it, and now that guy has
Yep.
it.
And he's got a
Okay.
a Sonic as well, so he's got an ATS and a Sonic.
Yeah.
But so we got maintenance, oil. That's always key. If you can find the best fuel in your area, whether that's top tier fuel from a reputable gas station, so Shell, Speedway. Don't put Dave's Pump and Dump in it, and go out there and try and beat
Loaf
on
and
it
jug.
for 20
Yeah,
minutes.
like scan your darn car, man. Aeroforce gauge is cheap, and it's a scan gauge that you can look at all times. Set it to knock and try different gas stations and watch your KR and just figure out the gas stations in your area that you have the least amount of KR with.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who mod their car very heavily and have no monitoring of the vitals. There's a lot of people who will do full builds on 3800s and Ecotechs, and they do a flash tune, and then we're like, oh well, what's your boost at? Because they're asking, if they want to drop a pulley or whatever, and they have no idea.
Yeah.
It's just weird. But
Remote tuning is so crucial. Like, Bo is our 3800 tuner, and he comes to me and he's like describing this guy's build, and he's like, yeah, we need to send him a 1.0 file. And I'm like, no. No.
Yeah.
Tell him to buy HP tuners
because
we're not going to send him a 1.0 file for a full build car. Like,
Yeah.
this
That
is a
happens
starter
more than
file.
you guys would think.
just in the last
Swapped full build.
just in the last 2 weeks, I had to refund 2 PCM updates because they had these huge Ecotech, like TVS, a custom intake, all this stuff, and they're just like, yeah, they've got the recipe for this.
It doesn't work like that.
But
A
Real quick,
1.0
hit
file.
Rob F. I want to say yes. The front doors are open.
Yep.
To visitors 9 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Yep, finally.
Another good thing that a lot of people don't realize or immediately come to mind, especially on their first track day, whatever sport it may be, have a little, you could almost call it care package. Bring sunscreen, bring a chair to sit in,
Yeah.
bring
You have no idea how many times we've been burnt the past 4 years because
Yeah.
no one remembers sunscreen.
Yep.
Except for Eden.
Yeah.
Eden saved us last year.
This year I'm going to have a backpack that will come to all track days that'll have these
Smart
things
move.
in it. But yeah, sunscreen, a
Get some
chair.
dude wipes.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
keep
nice
some
one.
in my
wipes.
backpack.
Nice one.
We go to a lot of events where we camp overnight, and you always forget something. So, just think ahead. One thing that was a great idea this year was any track you go to, it's going to be paved around the lot. So bring something to get around when you're not in your car.
Scooter,
So
skateboard.
yeah, I bought a scooter this year so I could scoot around the pits.
My biggest.
It's funny you mention your backpack thing because I could probably count on one hand the number of days in the past probably 5, 6, not more than that, probably like 8 to 10 years that I've left the house without a full change of clothes, toothbrush, deodorant, and my computer.
Yeah, always prepared.
All of that's always in my bag because when I still lived at home, I'd stay at my friend's house all the time randomly. And it just became a habit. But even now, I still have full change of clothes, toothbrush, deodorant, everything.
Yep.
But it's nice because when we go out of town for the weekend, I don't have to pack again. I just grab it, go.
I was gonna say my biggest improvement at for track prep was a good battery-powered air compressor.
Yep.
A good.
That's always great.
Just a good way to monitor tire pressure because it is always changing, and you should be checking it quite often, especially on a hot day.
That one that Tim has, I really like.
That little
The 12-volt compressor.
yeah.
That you just set the pressure and let it go.
Yeah.
Real handy.
Yep.
Uh,
Eden, he's alive.
Yeah.
He is
And
alive.
Oh,
That was touch and go for a little bit, but yeah, he is here, and he's in great spirits and good and healthy. So
Yeah, we're glad to have him back in the
I'm
shop.
glad Kyla mentioned that. Dyno is still appointment only. And
Yes.
I don't necessarily see that changing.
Yeah. Don't roll in and think you can get your Grand Prix dynoed on a random Thursday.
Even if you
Yeah,
get
no.
buying a street tune, please do us a favor and plan ahead.
Yeah.
that we can prepare.
Yeah, Street Tunes are back opened up as well, but email service at zzperformance.com.
Yep.
Our service bay and all of us here are as busy as ever. So, if you just show up and want a PCM update and it's not on the calendar, it can.
I mean, we might already be on the dyno. We might already be doing another tune.
We
so
might have a
gotta
doctor's
have it.
appointment or something.
Yeah,
Who knows?
we gotta know ahead of time. I'll go ahead and knock out a few road course ones.
Yeah.
Tyler, you can throw some on top of here in case I forgot.
Of course.
.4 brake fluid, number 1.
Yes.
I'm a big pusher of this. You guys, we're dead serious. Like
Yeah.
.4 fluid. That if you even get a warning, like if you are on the road course and you've hit a few corners, number 1, if you're a beginner, because obviously you must be if you don't have .4 fluid.
Yep.
You're going to be harder on the brakes. I mean, Tyler and I, when we get on the road course the first time for the month or the first time for the year especially, I mean, we come in and our brake rotors are smoking, brake pads smoking, because we're not used to it. By the end of the season, you can come in and stick your tongue on the rotor probably now. But
Not quite that.
I got $20 says you can try.
but I'm telling you, like between the first time you road course race for the season or first time in your life, there's a huge difference
big
in
difference.
temperature when you come in.
Because you hit that first long straight into a 90-degree corner, and you're like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
And you're coming, like, especially Gingerman, you're coming down from 120 to 140 and have to make a right turn.
Yeah.
You're on those brakes.
Yeah.
So
you're on it and stuff is hot. And .4 handles heat. It doesn't boil. Once it boils, it gases in there.
Yeah.
So now you have air in your brake system. So you cram those brakes. That brake pedal goes to the floor.
Try.
That brake pedal goes to the floor. And what does your brain do? It doesn't say, oh, pump the brakes because
no,
you
it
might
just
get
says
something.
push harder.
It just says push harder. And you can't
And that
push,
doesn't work.
And the floor stops the pedal. So there's no more brake pedal. It's gone. It's on the floor.
And you
and
lose
to-
the front lip in the grass.
Yes.
But to go along with that, bring extra.
Yeah.
Because if you do boil them at the track, you can flush your brakes there and, keep going. But if you have to run down to AutoZone or something to get more, then
So once it boils, you got to get it out of there?
Yes.
yeah.
You have to, if you boil the brakes, if you get a soft pedal even once at the road course, I recommend bringing a hose, stick it on the bleeder, and just bleed each caliper off.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just bleed it out. You want to get that boiled fluid and the gas out of the caliper, and then you're good to go again. So you bring your fluid, you bring your hose, so brake fluid doesn't end up in your wheel and all over everywhere.
Right.
And then you're good to go again. But .3 is guaranteed.
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna
will
happen.
boil that.
It's guaranteed.
I mean, people can boil .3 at autocrosses if it's a long enough track. So, I mean, even the most basic AutoZone, I've been using that Pentosin .4 that they sell at AutoZone before the RBF we had here, and it was great, and it's affordable enough. It's not $2 for a quart like .3 is, but it's like $14. Again,
Yeah.
spend the $14, flush your brakes out.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like a lot compared to 3, but come
Yeah.
on. It's not.
I got a funny story. So my ATSV, I was prepping it for Grid Life, Road Atlanta.
Yep.
And, it had dot floor, it had fancy pads on it, everything, good to go. It wasn't done for Grid Life. So Steve Hickman, same exact car, is like, do you want to borrow my car? And I'm like, holy crap, that's cool. Okay, I'll borrow your car. I'll quick do a race alignment to it. I'll swap all my hot parts over to it because we're almost identical builds. I throw it on trailer. We take off Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta has a straightaway. I was over 160 miles an hour.
Wow.
Like, I don't know how fast I was going, but like I'm sure it was
long straight.
165
I bet,
probably.
yeah.
And I crammed the brakes, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap! Like this, it was a couple laps in, and I'm like, oh crap! I just got my one warning, and I'm like over 150 miles an hour. So I'm pumping the brakes to round the next corner. It was because I didn't have .4 fluid in his car.
Yep.
And he just had Power Stop standard brake pads on it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to have to do like 1 or 2 laps and then a cool down lap.
Yeah.
That's my next thing for road course racing. A cool down lap, like every few laps, because holy crap, stuff gets hot.
Yeah.
So just do one lap to where you're going a speed to where you don't really have to use your brakes, but you still have very good airflow.
Yeah.
And then
Makes
I'll
sense.
just keep moving on just to get the road course one done, and then we can get over to the drag racing and the half-mile stuff that these guys do. The splash pads or whatever you want to call them,
The
splash
splash
guards?
shield, the splash shield on the back of the rotor.
Yeah, pull that off.
Yep.
Cut it out, bend it out of the way, whatever. I mean, that is there. So
A lot of times
if
you just
you-
have to remove the wheel bearing, and it's
Yeah.
sandwiched in between the hub and stuff.
Yep. That is there. So the dummies that are going like 60 and then hit water puddles don't warp the rotors.
Yeah.
Well, us car guys don't do that because we know it can warp our rotors. So
just avoid
pull
them.
that out of there because that will expel heat in your good. Just don't hit water puddles. Torque wrench.
Yep.
Torque your
Torque.
freaking wheels.
Check them
After every session.
And sure. At least until you know that it doesn't take anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was one single time I didn't use a torque wrench on my wheels and my S2000, and I'm mashing. All of a sudden, I pick up this weird wobble, and I'm like, I'm going to pit in. I pit in. All of my wheels were loose.
Woo.
All of them. Put them on
That's
with
terrifying.
an impact gun. And I'm like, the one single time
Yeah.
I forgot to torque wrench them. Torque wrench them, everything's fine. But bring torque wrench your wheels.
And with the torque wrench, it's always good to have a tool set for your car.
Yep.
But especially when we're modding these cars to twice the horsepower they come with from the factory, be like Bo Cobb and grab your 301-piece Harbor Freight set. Or I've
Yep.
got a couple tool bags that I always throw in no matter where we're going.
Yeah, the tools are critical. One little thing I've picked up on is washing the windshield. It sounds super silly, but when you're at the tree and the sun's in your eyes and your windshield's all dirty and you can't see crap, clean windshield will save your night.
Yeah. I have a notepad on my phone for track tools. And I pull that up,
that's a
and the night before, I go round up all my track tools, put them in the car in my little bag. We're good to go. And if you're at the track and you're like, dang it, I wish I had a 12-volt air compressor,
Yeah.
let's say, put that on the notes, and then
Yep.
you'll have it for next time.
Yeah. You can never bring too many things.
That's true.
Trevor has a tote. Tote's a great idea.
Yeah, a tote's a good idea.
Yep.
Just throw it all in a plastic thing and then boom, right in the trunk.
Yeah, obviously a jack always. You always need a jack no matter what.
Here's a dumb one. Like, you'll make so many stupid mistakes that you don't think about. Like, let's say there's a freaking napkin in your car, and you're mashing, and you have to have a window down so they could pull you out of the car in case you get in an accident. So you're mashing around. All of a sudden, the stupid napkin starts flying around. So you're reaching around trying to grab this napkin, and now you're going 90, and there's a 90-degree turn. Make sure your car's empty.
I had that happen once with it was in my first Ion and it was a Meyer bag. No, it was a Meyer bag.
Oh, man.
And I got going down the straight and it's just like boom, 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 boom.
They never
So,
leave.
I'm doing the thing like, oh God, how do I get it out?
Because if you don't, it's gonna hit your face.
Oh, so yeah, I learned to move all that stuff out of the car before you go.
It doesn't take very much to really get your mind off your thing,
Yeah.
No.
off what you're doing and get in trouble. Noah had a 4-off, like a gnarly 4-off at Gingerman because he was watching the guy behind him in his rearview mirror.
Yep.
I'm not making fun of Noah. Like that happens
Yeah.
very quickly.
You're
Race-
moving fast.
Race your race. I don't care who's behind you. Worry about them on a straightaway and only glance. But like race your own race.
Yep.
If they're pushing and you feel uncomfortable, then just give them a point by.
Yeah.
Let them get by you. And another thing, don't follow anybody else's line.
Yeah, because
like
then you
follow
get
your
sucked
own
into
line.
theirs.
The person in front of you probably sucks because if they were better than you, they wouldn't be in front of you. They'd be gone.
Yep.
So race your own race.
Yeah. Yeah, JPL said a flashlight. That's a good idea too.
Oh,
A flashlight or a lantern, something because
Headlamp.
yeah, headlamp.
Yeah, cave lamp.
If you're out there and it's getting dark and I don't know,
Well,
you
you're
can
always
make
picking up in the dark.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
always. Royal Calvin, I'm glad you're excited about the coilovers. I know Jeff is here. He just got his cruise ones the other day. Yeah, I'm excited about them too.
Yeah, should be. They
Absolutely.
are amazing.
They are.
Now I just need my bigger sway bar Al,
Oh yeah.
let's do that. Let's make
yeah.
Tim's so old he remembers .1.
Ooh, is that Captain Slow? Yeah, you Canatelli. I knew it.
I saw up here though. What about how often would you guys change that out?
What's that?
Your
The
brake fluid?
Yeah, several people are asking about it collecting more moisture than 3.
I'll be honest, I don't.
I don't do a full flush. I did a full flush once a year on the Camaro the last few years. Now I wouldn't say full flush, but like get a couple bottles if they're the
freshen.
small ones
I
in there.
empty the caliper
Yeah.
once a season. That's what I do.
Yeah, once it's in your system and it's sealed, it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
at least from what I've seen. Again, if you want to, it's $14. You know, in a full system, I think would take 2 of those big Pentosans or 4 RBFs, resting bitch faces. Ding. But yeah, there's habits that we all get into, but as long as you bleed the brakes before you're going out, I think you'll mostly be fine.
I've got another one. It kind of goes along with your maintenance. Inspect your rotors.
Yeah, look for cracks.
Noah had a
Oh.
rotor explode.
He's-
Like the ring just
Oh,
shattered
yeah.
and just
He's-
came.
He's
like,
had that happen twice.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like, look at your rotors because they'll get hairline
Mm-hmm.
cracks in them. And as soon as you see that, like, on the street, you're probably fine. But if you go to the road course with a hairline fractures in your rotor,
It's
even
gonna
if they're
grow.
tiny, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, he pulled off. It was at Grid Life, I think 2 years ago, and he's like, "Man, I lost all my brakes, and it's weird, but they didn't boil." And I got over to him in the pits, and we're looking, and we're like, "Man, everything looks fine." And we take off the wheel, and the ring of the rotor just goes ding 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 ding,
Yeah.
completely sheared off of the face.
That's not.
So
Wow.
yeah, so yeah, maintenance. Just take a
I've-
look at everything.
I've been really keeping up on tire rotations.
That's a good idea too.
Like
I
way more
rotate
than
every
usual.
time I drive.
Way more than usual, and I've had really good luck in getting tread life
Dad
out of
joke
tires.
number one. Don't forget your helmet. That is,
Yeah.
I think, one of my biggest.
you do
every
you
time.
do that often.
Like,
Turbo Tim forgets the HP tuners and the helmet every time.
Yeah, yeah.
Last
Who's
time,
got an interface?
Yep. Yeah, like I took the Sonic to the track and I got my Aeroforce because like I use HP tuners quite often, but I use my Aeroforce like even more. And I'm like at the track and I'm like, oh crap, I'm like racing around with like -2 degrees of timing. I know exactly what it is. It's my IATs that are through the roof.
Yep.
But yeah, make sure if you have an interface, bring it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
absolutely. That thing stays right in my glove box.
Well, you have the liberty of living in Lake Odessa and people not breaking into your cars, so some of us take things out of our cars before we
Yeah.
we go inside.
Yeah, I mean you can have your duffel bag, your tote, whatever of all the necessary stuff. Go to Harbor Freight and get cheap tools for your track toolkit,
Yeah.
whatever. People at the track are honest. They're not going to
They
steal
really
your
are.
stuff.
That's one thing that I've always loved about the track community. I've never had a situation at any road course that I feel like I couldn't leave my car unlocked, and I leave my tools out on a tarp. That's another thing. I always bring a tarp, not for under the tent because I learned you don't do that, but to throw all your stuff on. So if it's wet out and you don't want your jack resting on the wet grass or whatever, I bring a $2 Harbor Freight tarp, throw out all the
like
jack
it.
stands, all that, throw it on there. I know where everything's at.
What else I'm a big
I like
fan
it.
of is Harbor Freight moving blankets.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Because if you got to crawl under a car on asphalt,
it sucks.
Ooh.
those are real nice.
Yeah.
And they're cheap as well. There's no reason any car guy shouldn't have 4 of them.
Ooh, Tim Rowe has a question for you, Al.
Oh. Now we're going to go for that Sunday, so stay tuned.
Woo!
See if I come in on crutches Monday.
1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That's 6.5, 7.5 for me.
Yeah, 7.5 Tylers.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I did 285 5 reps 3 times yesterday.
You're really strong.
So I am like, that's no suit. But still, we're getting there.
Yep.
We're
Yeah.
getting there.
Really. Anything else road course related? Otherwise, we'll move on to.
That's about it.
to
Let's
quarter
do
mile.
drag stuff.
I guess one more thing that I would add is if you have the means, bring extra tires. If it's a really big event, they may have a tire changer there, or you can always run down to the local Walmart and they'll swap them out for $20 a wheel. Or if you're driving to the track and you have your all seasons or whatever, drive there with those and then save your race tires. And
Yeah.
so that's for most any type of
A
racing.
lot of guys always switching tires at the track.
Yeah.
I do have another big one, I guess. Alignment. If you drive like Bo, me, Noah, Tyler, like if you drive like us, you better add a whole bunch of camber at least for that day.
Yeah.
Because I did put a brand new set of tires on the ATSV on the stock alignment and wasted them in one track
session.
day.
Yeah.
Not crazy.
I remember that.
You add I would say a good number for starters. If you have a grippy tire, obviously the less grippy tire, the less camber you need. But if you have a grippy tire on the car, I mean, you're going to need at least 2.5 degrees in the front.
Yeah.
And
if you have a heavier car, you're going to need more. And with
Yeah.
any heavier car, you're going to need more everything. You're going to
Yeah.
need
I
more
was-
brake pads.
When I started turning with the Buick, I was really scared of a lot of camber, and I thought 2.5 was a lot. But and I went, and you can see the wear mark on the tire, and 2.5 is not even enough.
Yeah.
No.
And you touched on tire pressure. Tire pressure is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you're turning, going straight.
So do you go off of those little triangle markers?
No. Those numbers, those triangles do nothing for you.
What are
The
else
best
are they
way-
even there for?
Supposedly for that, but it doesn't work. That doesn't
Yeah,
work.
because if
Okay.
you're hitting those, you're rolling over a lot.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what I always
think
thought. They looked like they were way down there.
I feel like it's vehicle dependent. Like I've
Probably.
had vehicles not even be close to that, but then have other issues.
Yeah.
And then I've had vehicles that go over it, and then I can't stop them from going over it. It's like really with how cheap stuff is now, those laser temp probe guns.
That's
I
gonna
mean,
be your best
Harbor
bet.
Freight or Amazon or something.
Oh,
It's probably $20 or less. But all you do is you come in from a lap, jump out of the car real quick in your cool down lap or your cool down pit area, and then just laser probe across the side of your tire.
Yep.
And then it will tell you the outside temperature versus the inside, and then you'll know if you need more or less camber.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if it's super hot on the outside, you better add more camber, and it's going to require some camber bolts or slot in your holes or
Or if you
whatever.
have ZZP coilovers, just loosen those tops. And
Yeah.
Do you do the same for pressure?
You
Could work like that.
I know
If you do-
in some levels of racing, they have temp sensors mounted on the car that show
Yeah.
you the sidewall and middle tread
I
temp.
suppose you can, if you see a difference in outer to inner
Inner.
temp, which
or outers to center.
Yeah.
If your center's really high, then you're overinflated. If your center's really low, then you're
Yep.
probably under. But a lot of that on road courses just kind of feel.
yeah, it really is.
You know.
Car weight,
Yeah.
tire width. If you have a 225 tire pressure doesn't matter as much as if you have a 275.
Yep.
A 275, definitely you have to be very careful with your tire pressure because you will mess up a set of tires
you'll
real
cook
quick.
them real quick. And 275s aren't cheap.
Noah Hammock. How did we forget?
Fire extinguisher.
Of course.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah.
have one in literally all of my vehicles, daily driver and everything. They're
Yeah.
cheap.
Again,
Cheap insurance.
they're cheap.
You put a lot of time and money into your car, it'll save you.
Yeah.
And then
I need to get a bigger one.
JPL,
I was-
that's my fault.
I was gonna ask, hit Royal Calvin there. Do you need an upgraded sway bar for understeer? Yes, you'd want to upgrade your rear sway bar. Or no, he said understeer. That would be a front sway bar.
No.
If
Nope,
you're
rear.
understeering, you want a rear.
You want to stiffen up the side that's not slipping.
Yeah.
Like
Correct.
So if you're
crap.
if you're oversteering, if the rear is getting out behind you, then you need more front bar. If
Yes.
your front is pushing,
More
then
rear
you'll
bar.
need more rear bar.
yes.
The way I think of it is use sway bars to make something slide more.
Yes.
Because you're trying to even out the car.
That's the easiest way to say
So
it.
if you're turning and the front slides but the rear doesn't, then put some rear bar in it so you can try to balance the car out.
Yep.
Yep. Because you want it to feel balanced. And like a Sonic, like even with our sway bar is not enough. Like it just not enough. We need a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. So JPL, I just had a busy week and I wasn't able to get the new Brembo kit up, but it is next on my list. So that should be
Ready
up
to
Monday.
fire. We
Yep.
got it loaded.
Yep, it's good. So let's jump over to drag racing, whether
Yeah.
it be half mile or quarter mile in general. They're similar but much different. But what you bring is probably going to be pretty much the same. Obviously, don't drive.
What I bring depends on the distance we're traveling.
That too.
Really.
The biggest thing with quarter mile drag racing is the track prep. If it's a sticky track, then expect things to break. So with us, with the Sonic, we
Axles.
bring axles,
Piles.
transmissions.
Yes,
we have
take
literally
spare
brought
transmission.
spare trans because if you're there, you can swap it out.
4 hours from home, might as well.
Yeah,
get it
and
done.
we were like 4.5 hours away, and before we left, there was like, might as well put that in the trailer.
Yeah, we got room.
I mean, Al's talking about going to a half mile race in what, Kansas? And he's Colorado, and he's discussing bringing a freaking engine.
A full-on cradle ready to.
If
Yeah,
you're-
full cradled.
What is that? 11 hours away?
Yeah.
11 hours away. Yeah, it's
and it's only 6 hours to do a cradle swap.
Right. Well, it'll be a weekend event.
Yeah.
So if something
Multi-day?
happens early Saturday,
Yeah, just think about how, and if you're going to your local drag strip and it's half an hour away, it's one thing. But if you're going to an event, like we're going to Cletus and Cars, and we've got Streetcar Takeover and all sorts of events. If you're going there, you're paying your money. These events aren't cheap. Like Cletus and Cars is, I don't know, $75.
if you're going more than an hour away, there should not be any space left in your vehicle or trailer.
Yeah, bring too much.
If there's a chance you could use it, throw it in there.
Extra brake pads, extra lug nuts,
spark plugs.
spark plugs.
One very car guy thing. You're walking out of the garage, and that one thing that keeps your eyes caught it 3 times.
Grab it.
Grab it,
Yes.
because your eye has caught that 3 times for a reason. Whether if it's that crescent wrench or if it's the jump pack or whatever it may be.
Bring it.
This one's kind of sounds silly, but power inverter.
Yeah, that's always a great thing to have.
Because someone always has a phone or laptop or camera that they have to charge.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always.
Noah Hammock, realistically, and this is one thing that I personally have slacked on, get a race suit. You can find
sooner than you think.
You can find single layer ones for less than $200, and something is better than nothing. This year, I'm buying a nice race suit. I'm, investing in that with how much racing we do. Even though one layer is only 3 seconds of protection, it's going to be infinitely better
What
than
was the 5-layer? 10 seconds.
a 5
So
layer.
like, a 1 layer is still bare skin. 1 layer, 5 layer. So like you're still a gigantic improvement.
Yeah, and if you can, find a local place that you can go try them on. Around here, there's Lane Automotive. They have a bunch of different race suits. You can go and get fitted, see what feels right. With some of the budget single layer, you'll probably be fine no matter what. But when you start adding those up, they're gonna get real stiff. You only have one life. So
Yeah.
if we all think that we're not going to crash because we're good drivers, but things happen, and
It's going to happen eventually.
yeah, brakes
I don't
go
care how
out,
good
whatever
you
it is. If your car catches fire, and it does, we've seen it. 3 seconds is a matter of you getting unbuckled and out of the car.
Yeah.
And if it's on fire and you're just in your cotton T-shirt,
It's
it's going to hurt.
Think about this too. So you have your one-piece suit, or you have your coat and your pants. If let's say it's a 90-degree day at the track and it's freaking hot and you're sweating like crazy, you can have a teeny T-shirt, or a tank top and shorts, and then just put the suit on, race,
Yep.
and take the suit right
Yeah,
off.
That's exactly what I did.
Yep.
Like you can just strip down. Like you're supposed to have long sleeves and long pants,
yeah.
when you're in a race car. So like if it's 90 degrees, it sucks to show up like that.
Yeah.
So just bring your
Yeah,
suit.
bring in
You know the what's the cheap car that you race on the road course?
Lemons.
Lemons.
Yeah.
24-hour Lemons website. I think it's 24 hours of Lemons, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
.com.
have a list.
They have a list of things required and cheap websites, like
To
the
buy
cheapest
them at.
sites to
Yeah.
buy the stuff.
Yeah.
So check that website out and go to that if you're on a budget. You know,
I would say even if you can't get a suit, absolutely get fireproof gloves.
Yes.
Because even if your arm is burning, at least your hands will function to try to
Get
get
you
you
out.
of the
Yeah.
vehicle.
for sure.
good.
Love
For
it.
longer than they would bear.
Yep.
Yes, I love it.
JPL mentioned shoes. Shoes are very important, whether they're fireproof or not. A comfortable shoe that you're going to be able to transition off the brake and
good
gas.
leather shoe.
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah,
Small shoe.
small, light. Sarah, the first time she raced this year, we take her over
Randy.
to Stanton to run the quarter mile, and her foot slips off the gas pedal because her dang Croc or whatever the hell she had on.
Crocs.
And then she's like, "Oh, my foot slipped."
She
and I'm
didn't
like,
have them in combat mode.
She didn't have a 4-wheel drive. But me and Bo have talked about this a lot. You like your Chucks
Yeah.
because they're thin. I really like. I have these Nike Portmore Ultralights, and they're barely there, so I can feel a lot better. And this is something that you'll have to get used to. You know, you don't want to go out there stomping in work boots at the road course. It's just not going to work well.
Well, funny you mention that.
Well, Al can. He's the fastest shifter in the West with the steel toe on.
Yep, there's what we hear.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I got so used to driving my car with my freaking waffle stompers on that I went to an autocross and I was like, oh yeah, lightweight little shit. No, I couldn't drive the car.
Yeah, it is weird how different it is. Like even just my training shoes, Adidas or whatever. They got the big old
It's
sole
a
on them.
huge difference.
It's a huge difference. So find what you are comfortable in
When
and
you're
go drive with that.
autocrossing, I'm not kidding. A shoe and a good steering wheel is like a second on your time.
Oh yeah, and a seat.
The same shoe.
Yeah, the same shoe.
Because one thing I have noticed is I change my shoes throughout the seasons. And I like my big ones in the winter and my little lightweight barefoot ones in the summer. When I change shoes for the season, I can't heel toe for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you got to
until
get
my
reused
feet
to it.
relearn the pedals.
Somebody mentioned seats. You
Yeah.
know, you're talking about seats. I mean, obviously, not everybody wants to pony up for a race seat, even though they're so worth it. They're
Jerkies
so
are
worth
cheap.
it. So, anybody that's been on road course, one of the most annoying thing is having to spread your legs wide, one knee panel up against the door, one knee up against the center console, and that sucks so bad
Yeah,
when you're
it's
trying
awful.
to work 3 pedals or 2 pedals for the lame people. So
That
you know,
was you.
So there's a couple options here. So you have a race seat. You sit in it. It has nice bolsters to kind of keep your legs in place. You have another option. You have race harnesses, which you have to have a harness bar, and not all sanctions are going to let you use a harness bar. Usually they only let you legally use it with a row cage. The next thing, a neat little thing that my friend had that I fell in love with.
Seatbelt twist.
I don't know about that. You'll have to add to that.
Yeah, explain it in a
They
second.
make these neat little metal things. It's basically a seatbelt clip. So you get in the car, you sit in the seat, you kind of shake yourself into your spot, you yank the seatbelt up nice and tight, and then you clip the seatbelt thing on, and it locks the lap belt part of your seatbelt
Well, that's
tight.
just someone making money off of my free mod.
Okay.
So you just reach over and hook your seatbelt up, snug it up, pinch the two together, unhook it, twist it 3 times, and hook it back in. And it can't slide through the end of the buckle anymore. So it locks you in down here.
Must be the
Okay.
design of my buckle in the Buick. When I cinch it, it stays.
okay.
Kind of like a ratchet strap would,
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing, the cinching it.
There's a
Just
lot
get
of
in the
them-
car and just grab your shoulder
Yeah.
strap and just pull it
Yeah.
tight.
Well, a lot of them, if you pull it all the way out,
Yep.
that engages the ratchet.
And then you let it go.
And then you can pull it back in and hear it click.
Okay.
And
This might be
some road course guys taught me if you so get where you're at and get it nice and tight, and then move your seat back so you're leaning back, and you can get it a little bit tighter, and then you can move your seat back,
Lean into it.
lean into it, and so it's like really snug against you. But yeah, I talked to I made a buddy at the last Grid Life, Grant Mullet. He was racing a C5 Z06, and he was doing like 144s. He put a race seat in, didn't change anything else on the car, went back a month later and dropped 3 seconds
Holy
off
cow.
his road course
That
time.
is so crazy.
Now,
I can believe that.
I can as well, especially because if you've ever looked at C5 Corvette seats, they are
Yeah.
atrociously bad.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
they're-
they're made for 60-year-old fat dudes.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. They
Yeah,
can't
I
hold
mean,
little people.
I still haven't
They're
got
like a one-person bench seat.
Pretty much.
I still haven't got a race seat in the Buick or anything, but I'm rocking a set of 05 GXP seats. And Grand Prix guys, there's enough GXPs and 04 Plus cars in the junkyards nowadays. I think our local welders will sell you a set for like $100, the front and the rear. And they have so much more bolstering, and they're just overall a way better seat that literally drops right in the factory bracket. So if you got a W body or any kind of 3800 vehicle,
Yeah.
look for a newer Grand Prix seat. It's a great upgrade. Affordable.
Or if you're a base model
Very smarter.
base model Cobalt guy, people off their Recaros all the time from the LSJ cars for like $250.
And
Yeah.
that
Those
is
are
an
a great
amazing
seat.
Yeah.
Those are good seats.
And
Every time I get
or,
those.
Or
Yep.
you can find LNF seats for less than $500 for a pair, and those have adjustable bolsters.
I don't like the LNF seats for like road trip, but they do hold you better than the LSJs.
Yeah. Yep. But so let's think. Any last quarter
and,
mile or half mile?
The jerky, the Jegs Kirkies.
Yep.
You know, those seats are insanely cheap, but those do require
Harness
a
bar.
cage or harness bar.
Yeah. So let's think. What have you guys forgotten at home going to?
Lug key.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah, I
Yep.
can see how that could be a problem.
Yep.
Don't forget that.
God, that was an annoying one. Came back to the shop and grabbed the wrong one.
Yeah.
Just wasn't your day. You'll
That
have
happens.
those. You will have
Yes,
those.
I have the original dash skin out of the Snowball is now in the Honey Badger. And it fit close enough that I bet with a little bit of effort you could do like a full interior swap.
You probably could.
I would not be surprised.
I'm trying to think. Any other things?
Yeah, portable compressors.
Yeah.
I bring pretty much all the tools that I have room for.
I mean, I've got a lot of track prep stuff I love.
Yeah.
Like,
Go ahead.
Whatever your drive tires are, you know, pulling the weight out of that area is not crazy important. But let's say us front wheel drive guys, you know, I still have some front wheel drive cars. Every freaking ounce you can pull out of the rear
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
the trunk.
crucial. Like, these people that talk, they brag about, like,
Speaking
oh,
of Widowson right now,
what
did he run with a full trunk of parts he forgot to take out?
He had all this stuff and 2 5-gallon cans of fuel.
In his trunk.
Yeah.
He
Jay,
had
what
a-
did you run on that pass?
He had a jack stands, 2 5-gallons,
And it was a record.
yeah, it was a record
Yeah.
supercharged run,
He's so pumped at the track. He's like, let's go.
and he probably had 100 pounds in the back and could have dropped another tenth.
Yeah, it's like, let's say 100 pounds is a tenth of a second, but 100 pounds in the trunk is probably 2/10 in a front wheel drive vehicle.
Suck it, Bo. Suck it.
Come on, dude, you beginner.
He's just gonna
So,
let it
like,
go.
every pound you pull out of the rear of the car is like, I don't know, Al will probably tell you the math on it, but like, it's like 2 pounds out of the front. I'm just gonna go with that.
It's I would definitely it's definitely more valuable than removing front weight. I'll give you that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you like pull everything. If you got your inflator kit in your trunk,
Yeah.
like pull it out. Like show up to the track low on fuel. I mean, I don't race unless the fuel light's on. Like the fuel light is
Not too
on.
low.
Like
Not
when
too low. You don't want to run her dry.
I mean,
Yeah, you don't want to be like Shane and get 3/4 of the way through a quarter mile,
Yeah.
which would have been a record run and run out of gas. That is
but
not
he's
good.
doing it right.
Yeah, he is.
You know, that's
you
the way
toe
to
that
do it.
line.
You know, it's you know, you want every ounce of weight out of that car possible, especially over your drive tires.
Yeah, and speaking of pulling things out,
Your non-drive tires. Sorry.
floor mats. Take
Yeah.
out your floor mats.
For multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Gas pedal goes all the way to the floor.
Yup.
Yeah, that helps.
Yep.
Brake
it-
pedal can go down all
like-
the way.
If you're on a road course and you don't have like an OEM mat that like latches to the floor, locks to the floor like mechanically, like there's a hook
Yep.
that holds it in place. That thing, you're cramming the brakes, cramming the gas, working your feet like crazy.
It's
and then
shifting
that,
around.
That thing just works its way under all your pedals.
Yep.
And now you can't push your pedals down.
Yep.
Oh, I
It
can't
happens.
believe we forgot that. Eric's little grill.
Yeah.
That was a lifesaver.
Yep.
Bring your Eric.
Yep. Bring your Eric.
Bring your Eric.
and his little grill.
Yeah.
Uh,
Something to drink. Some
Water,
friggin'
yeah.
water,
We
man.
always forget water. so-
water, snacks. If
Yeah.
if go to Costco the day before and get a thing of Chewy bars, or I don't know, you
Yeah.
can live off a thing of Chewy bars for like 3 days.
You ever
done
had
it.
those fruit bars from Costco? Those are pretty good.
Jason said 11/8s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Steven
Jeez.
With a trunk full.
Stephen B. Blackhawk Farms is definitely a good initial road course if you can, and it would be a long drive from Elkhart depending on where you're at. But get up to Gingerman. We love Gingerman not only because it's our home course, but it is so forgiving. You can go full 4 off, and there's only one spot that you really wouldn't want to be, and your car will be fine unless you hit a corner worker station, which would not be good.
Yeah.
Because there's people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blackhawk is a ton of like from what I hear, it's a ton of fun, and I'm really rather upset I haven't been there yet because I hear it's a very neat looking course to be on.
Yeah.
It's very tight turns, so it's going to really cater to the smaller, zippier turny cars. I
Turning
need to
turn.
get there like this year. Like
Yeah,
that
I would
be
love to
cool.
go too.
my Sonic would probably love Blackhawk like big time.
Driver plag trailer, so you won't need it is right.
Yep, if you trailer your car to the track,
You won't need it.
you won't need it.
It's just how it works.
Yeah.
Go to
Isn't that funny?
go to Rocket Fizz and get ranch soda to drink.
He just made my.
Is there something ranch you don't like?
Yeah,
This is not. It's ranch by label only.
ranch by association. Yeah, Al, we'd love to bring the Honey Badger to Naperville. That'd be sweet. Meet up with Carl.
Heck yeah! Wish I could.
It's a
I
little
don't think
little
we're
far
gonna
though.
be welcome there for a while still.
Yeah, me and Tyler were talking this week. The warm air was coming out a little bit.
Yeah,
the
we had a-
birds
we
were
had a-
chirping a couple.
I
45.
am getting scared.
Walk out in the morning, it's like,
Yep,
I can feel
I can feel it. But all right, we hit 5. It's Friday. It's I think the weather's starting to get a little better. I looked at the 7-day forecast and it's slowly going up on my iPhone. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we're
No,
ready.
not with the fresh 3 inches this morning we had
Yeah, I know.
of snow.
Oh, heard that.
We are coming to Cletus in cars. The Sonic is going to be racing there. We will bring a lot of cars. I don't
My
know
car will not be ready.
who else will be racing, but
Well, probably that's kind of the Sonic's place, man. We're gonna go back and
That's in May, right?
yes,
It's the early
it is
one.
the first event.
that holds the Sonic's fastest pass.
It does.
We're gonna go.
And
back.
we only got 3 last year, so
We're gonna go
I'm
back
hoping we get more this year.
and best it and focus.
Maybe
on
you
that
should
Sonic.
fix the car. Remember how 2 months I told you to do that, and you're like, "Oh, we got plenty of time."
And now it's March.
yeah,
We'll get on that next week.
I'm gonna need some hands on my car too.
I know.
Probably not no Holly LS Fest.
No, we don't really have many of them V8s around here.
I've always wanted to take the GXP down there. And
I
just
would
hang
love-
out, but
Why? So they can laugh at you?
not to like show it, but like drive it there and then just.
I
At least
know.
they'll let you in that way.
I know LS Fest is at in Bowling Green. I would like, or not Bowling Green. Yeah, Bowling Green.
Yep.
Yeah. I would like to go to Camaro Fest this year. They said last year was the last year, but now this year is the last year. So
I've never heard someone call it Bowling Green.
that's
What
what
is
it's
it?
called.
It's Bowling Green.
Bowling
What?
Green.
Bowling
Say
Green?
that again.
He said Bowling Green. It's Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We-
you're messing it up.
It's the Michigan.
Us Michiganders like to enunciate some words, but
It's
not
more
all
like
of them.
Bullin.
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
But yeah, thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you next week. I don't know. Maybe I'll be hosting again. We'll see.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Trevor's alive. He just had a little head cold today. So, any questions? Feel free to hit us up in an email. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time. Enjoy your cars. We'll see you.
Have a
Yeah.
good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.